All right, folks. Big day today is the 29th. You'll probably see this Wednesday or Thursday, but this is a big day. Evergrande bonds is liquidating, correct, Bo? That's what's going on. It's about done. It just went bust. So this is big news for the world economy. World economy. Biggest, what is it? This is the biggest bonds company there is.
Yeah, so again, from what I gathered with regards to Evergrande bonds, this is a $300 billion bond issue that they basically took these bonds, and they sold them globally around the entire globe. So this is
300
not
billion.
300 billion. So this is
All right,
not a
folks.
China event. This is a global event.
This is global. Okay. Got to get your gold, folks. Whether you get it with Bow or Noble Gold, you got to get your gold. So it says here global financial storms might be raging, but thousands of investors in precious metals with Noble Gold investments are smiling. Protect your savings from market volatility with a Noble Gold Investments. Hopefully, I said that right. Noble Gold Investments IRA and claim your free silver virtue coin. Talk to Noble Gold Investments expert today, and they'll talk you through your options. And if you qualify, they'll guide you through the whole process. Call 877-646-5347 today and take control of your financial future. There's no time like now. No time like now. I know we both agree on this. Noble Gold Investments, folks. It's down there. Hit the link below. Get started. Bo, man, this is big. So I know you said that we were looking at December, but we all knew this was coming. I think everyone in my audience, myself, we all know it's the financial system's like a house of cards falling and it's about to go bust. We're there now, right? This is a big one. This is a big, big one.
Oh yeah. Well, see, Evergrande bonds, because they sold them globally, that basically means they sold them all around the world. So when they default, they've been trying to hide this for 2 years now about how horrific this whole problem is. But basically, when you study history and you go back to, this is magnitudes greater than Lehman Brothers. Okay. And Lehman Brothers is the triggering event that led to the market crash of 2008. Okay. And so now we've got an event magnitudes greater financially than Lehman Brothers. And everybody, well, we can't forget what happened with Lehman Brothers because, that was a stock market crash that reverberated globally. But now we're talking magnitudes greater. And so, yeah, you want to own precious metals. Just to correct you, I personally, I do not sell gold and silver. So if you want to get gold and silver, reach out to David's guy and the group that they sell, because you want to be involved in precious metals, because when you read Haggai 2 verse 8, the silver and the gold are mine, saith the Lord. And so we're stepping right into here. This is 2024, this year, 2024 starts the greatest financial event in human history. Why? Because we're going to see a flipping of the financial scale. So we're going to see a financial collapse of magnitudes we can't even imagine. Why? Because they've created money out of thin air. And I always want to go back to this little analogy of money. Okay. In the 70s, we were barely into $1 billion. If you want to count to 1 million, I've said it before, it takes 12 days not sleeping. We're in the quadrillions now. So that basically is 31 million years not sleeping, that's seconds to be able to count to that. Okay. So the money went from a droplet of water in the 70s to an ocean of money right now, which Evergrande just defaulted on. Okay. So this is now set the stage for something truly, truly historic, what's about to happen financially. Based on my calculations, if you go back and listen to our last podcast, I say, there's supposed to be a turning event on the 27th of January. Okay, well, look, this thing happened on the 28th, the morning of the 28th, and today's the 29th. So this is now the start. We've now set the stage. The stage is now set for the greatest financial event in human history. What is that? It's the third seal. It's the fall of Babylon. And what have they done with the money, Nino? What do you talk about on your show? What you specifically talk about, what they're doing with the politicians, financial system, with the pharmaceuticals, like you just go on and on. But all of it was because of the money.
And this, I would imagine, the real estate market is just going to just vaporize.
Well, this is not about the real estate market. These
I mean,
bonds
everything.
Yes, this is not the real estate crash because we've seen that in '08. This is the everything crash,
And this company's in China,
which sold these bonds all around the world.
all over the
Everybody.
world.
So everybody's got them now. So now everybody is going to find out that these bonds are worth zero. And this then, ultimately, in some way, shape, or form triggers a huge financial event. Why is this important? Now, why did I know this was coming? Okay. Because the first, if I can maybe pull this screen up here, but I think you'll actually appreciate how awesome this is all biblically, because when you go study history, let me just pull this chart up for you here. If I can put this on screen. So it was in 2020, I basically, in 2020, I stated on Rosh Hashanah, when Ruth Bader Ginsburg dies, I said within about 2 years, you're going to watch Roe v. Wade be overturned. Okay. Well, Ginsburg died on Rosh Hashanah. Now, this is so cool because the next Rosh Hashanah was in September. It was on the 7th of the year 2021. So, Nino, this was the Rosh Hashanah after Ginsburg died. So she died in Rosh Hashanah year 2020. And then the next Rosh Hashanah was September 7th, 2021. Incredibly, that's the day the articles right here on Zero Hedge, Evergrande bonds halt amid liquidation panic, contagion spread in Chinese junk bonds. So they had to shut down trading on Rosh Hashanah, September 7th, 2021. What I say, on or about 2 years, into about 2 years, you're going to see the collapse of Evergrande, which then leads to a huge worldwide financial collapse. And now what do we got? 2 years and 4 months later, Evergrande was just declared bankrupt. Actually, the judge said Evergrande was ordered by a judge in Hong Kong to liquidate yesterday, the 28th. So all of this,
we're going to start
biblical.
feeling the ramifications from this now. Like this is going to
Well,
hit everything.
yes, and now see what was so next Rosh Hashanah was what? The September of the year 2022. Well, you know what happened on Rosh Hashanah, September 2022? The British pound collapsed. And they have to prop it back up. So what that's saying is the British pound collapses next year. See, so this is just next year. But the other thing to this is the Evergrande bonds, in some way, shape, or form, we're going to find out are linked to the U.S. Federal Reserve note, and we're going to see a collapse of that in the next probably 2 months. So the U.S., and this is because of the attack by the BRICS nation. So the BRICS are about to attack. So we're going to see like one financial collapse after another financial collapse after another. It's not going to stop. And the prophetic word is going to take 2 years to clean house. Well, when did it start? It started with in 2022. So by September of this year, all of these things should be manifested and exposed and complete financial chaos. But specifically, I would tell you this, based on what I'm looking at, since the event started right now on an important date, within the next 90 days, so that will be all of February, March, and April, we're going to see financial calamities. And was it say something about March or something like that as well, too? Wasn't he talking?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things I've heard is coming in March and April. I mean, I don't know what they are. I mean, I've heard it's the boogeyman 2.0. I've heard, this is all around the time going to trial as well.
Yeah.
So I would imagine they're going to hit us with distraction after distraction after distraction, and then they're going to pull the plug on everything. That's what I see coming. I mean, I'm not a psychic. I'm not making any predictions, but it looks like that's a window I'm looking at.
And I would fully agree. And let me show you this. I actually been working on this for the past, since about 4 a.m. this morning. I want to show you this here. So what we've got specifically is, again, I've talked to this on your past podcast we did, and I want to reiterate this again. But the Roman calendar, the Julian calendar, they start their month in March. Okay. So this is public knowledge. You can Google this, but I made it simple for everybody to see here. So basically, their year starts in March. So as much as the world believes we're in 2024, we're not. We're still in 2023. 2024
according to their calendar.
Yes, and the
That's
Roman
the real calendar. That's the calendar that we should all be going by, correct?
Yes, yeah. So they basically changed the clocks on us to confuse, and basically they based this off of Christmas because there's sun worshipers and the winter solstice. So all the clocks are literally confusing as all heck. So I've been studying these, trying to analyze, and I've got some definite revelation on all of this. But the bottom line is, you can't disprove me on this one. Their calendar starts in March. Okay, that's why, and it's their month of Mars, which is actually their month of war. So don't be surprised that we actually see military conflict in March. And it's not funny, but basically, it's Mars. That's their first month, and 𝗧𝗃 is 10, right? November is 9. Oct is 8. Sept is 7. So now we're in the month of Jan. We're heading into February, 𝗵𝗶𝗶, which is February, okay? And then their true month, their first month of the year starts here in March. So what I want, and then actually a prophetic word. Last time I read this prophecy that was given to Janie, she actually emailed me this morning, and then you actually texted me a couple hours ago to do another podcast. But actually, Janie just got this prophecy actually this morning. So she got it this morning, and the words are right here. For yes, March is their new year. So God actually confirmed it in a prophetic word this morning. I didn't even know it was coming on your show today. So you text, so it's kind of funny how this all coincidentally worked out, but there are no coincidences. And specifically this prophecy, if people want to read it, they can go to my website and they can just download it. But basically, at the point of the prophecy is it states no one knows. God's not going to reveal the day or the hour that he's going to strike. So there's no counter. God's going to strike them. They're going to get hit here really soon. We're heading into some very powerful time points. So again, I've stated before, there's a calendar called a Julian. This goes back 2,060 years. So right now, Julian calendar-wise, today's the 29th, but it's only the 16th Julian. So we're right here, okay? The next month, I put all these together this morning. So the 11th month ends on the 13th of February, which then the 14th starts the 12th month. So we're actually heading into the 12th month, and that will then set us up for what I believe is going to be the midnight hour, where there's going to be an incredible strike, an event that happens in March. And so the point of March is the 12th month ends on the 13th of February. So bottom line, I'm trying to show you here is on the 14th.
I was talking to Juan, and he said, if people, what's coming is going to be, not just one thing. It's going to be, we're going to get hit on all sides. It's going to be devastating, and a lot of people are going to quit and give up. A lot of, it's going to feel like a death experience for a lot of people, but he's he sure has been out of the country a lot lately, and going down south, and I don't know, I can't help but he says, man, really gets, you got to really prepare, because this year is going to be this is for the books, Bo. This is for the
Yeah,
books.
right. Well, and the thing is, what we
I
need
mean, I
to understand
cannot
is
say
this is
what I really
this is the
want to
class.
say here on Fluff Tube, but it seems like there's going to be hitting us on all angles, man. Humanity is going to get hit hard, and we're going to be so confused and disoriented. We're not going to know what is right, what is left, what's right, what's wrong. It's bad
And good.
and good.
And here's what I want to say, because when you read like the prophetic word of like what you're describing is they will bring this nation to its knees. So what you just described, Nino, was they will bring this nation to its knees. Okay,
Yeah.
so
It
what you're
feels like we're on our
saying,
knees now. Like, I mean,
oh no,
we're
no, well, we haven't.
worse.
Yeah, I like. It might feel like it, but wait till these events go down. Then we're really going to feel like we're on our knees. It's going to get worse yet, because it has to get worse. Think of a couple of time points, right? And you go when they killed Jesus Christ, all the apostles fled. It was only the women that were left. Like, you understand? Like, these were scary times at the Red Sea. They were freaked out. They literally, Israel thought they were finished. Why, Moses, why have you brought us here to die? They thought they were done. Okay, so we're going to get to a point where we think we're finished, we're done, and God's going to actually let the evil ones think they won. So when the evil ones think they won, it's going to look horrific for us, for humanity. Okay, and then you will hear the sound of great victory. So yes, they're going to come in with all of their guns a-blazing, because we've talked about this, Nino's corner, they're pinned in the corner, and all they can do is come out with everything they got. Whatever, right down to nuclear who knows what their options are.
Well,
But
Biden just said today, Biden just said this today, that we should go. I'll read it right now. Biden gives chilling nuclear warning over attacking Iran after the drone kills troops. So he's saying ex-UN weapons inspector David Albright said Iran may accelerate its already well-developed nuclear weapons program if the U.S. decides to launch direct strikes on their territory. We're going into a nuclear standoff. This is something that Juanito's warned about. This is you've talked about. I mean, this is where it's going. That's where we're heading. That's the trajectory of this year. People need to get this embedded into their conscience. They've got to understand this is where it's going.
Well, and I can't disagree with you, but all I want to do is add a biblical perspective to what you're saying, because from a biblical perspective, there's always the word hope. Okay, there's always there's always there's always light at the end of the darkness, right? And so what I want people to really see here on this chart, just understand from the Advent cycle, from the Julian cycle, okay, March is setting up for Passover, potentially around the 27th, and then that leads us into Easter, which is on the 31st, the last day of the month. Okay, well, what happened at Easter? Jesus Christ conquered evil and rose from the dead. Okay, so even though Easter is, it's not, basically should be Passover, it's the risen month of God, Jesus Christ rising, he is risen. They use the word Easter because it's their God. But what I'm trying to illustrate is Passover into Easter is incredibly important, starting around the 27th, and the Friday before that, Nino, is their day, Skull and Bones Day, 3/22.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then spring starts here on the 20th, and then New Year's Day would be the 14th. So all I'm saying is, starting somewhere around the 14th, the 22nd is a very important day, not for God, for them. Okay, if they strike and do something crazy, then we head into Passover. Passover, I know people say, oh, that's not Passover, is in April. No, not based on the Julian calendar. On the Julian calendar, Passover is on the 27th. It's in March, and then that leads us into Easter. And Easter is that's the rise, the rise of Christ, when God conquers evil. And so what I'm saying is, as horrific as all of this looks, then we're also setting up the stage for what we're leading into here, which could be in April, which would be a Red Sea miracle moment. And that's when complete and utter victory and utter destruction of evil. So all I want to show you in terms of dates. Okay, so from a date standpoint, I just want to give these 2 time points, starting about the 27th of March and all the way into specifically the 3rd of April, which would be the 21st of the Julian calendar. That's the last day of Passover using the Julian calendar. Very powerful time points. So I agree with you, Nino. These people have a very horrific plan, because basically you illustrated it beautifully with your words. You said this is a fight to the death. Because if the truth comes out of what they've done, like, we don't know what they've done to the degree of what they've done. Like, we just know, like, the 𝗵𝗂𝗶𝗹 movie, what they do with the kids as an example.
Yeah.
The point, you can just expand upon this, but the deals done in darkness are so terrible, and they're global, and there's so many people involved, that when the truth comes out, it's an utter destruction for them. But when you read in the Bible, it says, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling place for demons. And that's what's going on. So these demons will not stop. They have only one agenda, and that's utter destruction. They hate,
they're taking down everything right now. That's the plan. Yeah. They know Mr. T's coming. He's on his way. I mean, he's picking up speed. America's behind him. The world's behind him. They know what's coming, and they are at warp speed to destroy this entire planet, really.
Right. But here's the thing. And as much as people, want Mr. T to return, if he returned tomorrow, for example, he wouldn't stop anything. Why? Because unless we see the hand of God intervene on this world, and the intervention, I'm going to be really clear here, the intervention starts with the angel of death. hundreds, maybe thousands of deaths in a single night, okay? We have not seen the angel of death strike. There are 4 prophetic words that the angel of death is on the earth. God will not reveal the day he strikes, but I'm telling you, February, March, and April is just an incredibly, incredibly important time point, which I've shown you already. So the angel of death is first strike. He's going to strike them, and they are going to freak. Remember the prophecy that I read as well, too. Angel of death is coming, and then following the angel of death is a Red Sea miracle when God literally closes the sea on them. In other words, he finishes them off. And understand how all this played out, okay? When you study Exodus, Pharaoh released Egypt, and they left with what? All the gold and silver. The chart I showed you earlier, silver specifically bottomed on January 22nd, 2024. 1, 2, 4. Silver and gold are in an upcycle for years now, but more importantly, we're going to see it's going to go up, 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 and then it's going to blow vertical like you've never seen before. When it blows vertical, this is them losing control, okay? And their blowing vertical is going to happen anytime in those 3 months, that 90-day window that I told you, and probably sooner rather than later. And so they start to lose control, everything blows up in their face, and that's what's about to happen. But they're not going to let this stuff go down without a fight to the death. And that's what we're here, that's what's literally coming, a fight to the death.
Yeah, it's not like they're riding off into the sunset. They're not going to ride off into the sunset and say, better luck next time, if that ain't happening.
Right.
So,
and these people will come down. This is all scriptural, because then it says, then I saw another beast rise from the earth and made the inhabitants of the earth worship the first beast. So what's about to come down is the death of the first beast. The first beast, Mystery Babylon, is about to be killed, okay? God via the angel of death, and then following that, a short time after, we're going to see a Red Sea miracle moment where God utterly destroys them. Then and only then can you have Mr. T return, because he comes back
once it's completely decimated and it's done.
To rebuild, right? So
okay.
I would say April is going to be an incredibly powerful month.
Do you think? I mean, do you think this all gets handled before November?
It has to be. Well, Passover, if you go on the calendar that I showed, the Advent calendar, Passover is in March, and then Red Sea Miracle is like the 22nd or something of April. If you go by the Hebrew calendar, Passover is on the 22nd of April, and then the Red Sea Miracle would be sometime in middle to about the 3rd week of May. So all of this is completed by the end of May. These people are, so Babylon's destroyed. They basically, their gig is up. Their secrets are exposed, and now they're basically trying to hide. Many have been destroyed. Most are fleeing the country. So
yeah, I know they're getting ready for that.
Yeah, so big things are about to happen, but from from the Advent calendar that I'm showing you, or from the Julian calendar, it's setting up for March and April being wild. And we just saw the first this first spark, if you want to call it, with the Evergrande bond debacle here. And then this, literally, if you saw gold jump $15, silver jump $40 today, it's 40 cents today. Again, wow. They're all jumping, but when a financial calamity hits and war hits, those are the two most bullish things for gold and silver, okay? So a collapse of the US dollar, which is going to be attacked by the BRICS, okay? And then a war that breaks out there shortly thereafter is going to be extremely bullish again for gold and silver. And that's going to be Iran. It's going to have to be Iran. So watch gold and silver blow vertical. And when the dollar, so as a dollar collapses, this is most important here. The stock market can crash 1,000 times. Evergrande can collapse 1,000 more, whatever. Another 10 more companies can collapse, okay? They're going to keep playing the smoke and mirrors game and sticking their fingers in the dam, okay? That's what they're going to keep doing, because they can't let the game be exposed. And what's the game? Control of humanity. And so God's about to intervene. The angel of death is the first event that's going to happen, okay? I don't know when this is happening, but I'm thinking, next 90 days in March, is looking extremely interesting for me for those things to go down, which then triggers a huge financial events in the month of April. So I hope people have listened to us, Nino. I hope people have listened to you. I hope people have gotten, because when the financial system blows up, people's 401ks, IRAs, that's not financial advice. I'm just saying in a debt jubilee, banks blow up, which means your 401ks blow up, your IRAs blow up. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm telling you what a jubilee is. Okay, it's a
Yeah.
destruction of the banking system, and that's a debt jubilee. And so these people who think they're so wealthy, millionaires or billionaires, unfortunately, I truly believe they're going to be in food lines.
Yeah.
Because they thought that Nino and Bo were crazy.
Thank you both for joining me.
God bless.
All right. God bless, Mo. Thank you.